Oh, nothing up there. I don't do that a lot. Okay, people, welcome to my top 5 and my bottom 5 action figures of 2017. People have been asking, hey, what's your favorite figures of the year? So I figured I'd put this out, but me being the master procrastinator, it only took 3 tries to say that together. Me being me, I waited till the last day of the year. And just to reiterate, these are my top 5. It may not be the best action figures from the year, but they're ones that reached out and grabbed me and didn't let go. Don't get me wrong, I love most of the action figures I got this year, but if you have to whittle it down to 5, these are my picks, at least today. Ask me tomorrow and it'll probably be different. Also, if you watch the channel, you know I only mess, well, for the most part, I only mess with 1/12 scale. So if you come along and say the Hot Toy so-and-so is much, much better than that, I would probably agree with you. I don't buy a lot of Hot Toys. I only get them when it's a special occasion or if I've been a good boy that year. But the pictures that, if I did the edits right, that are flashing by right now, these are the ones that didn't quite make the top 5. They're in my love list, but like I said, which is a long list, but they didn't quite make the bottom, or well, the top 5. And then we'll discuss the bottom 5 here in a minute. Number 5 in my top 5 list is the Diamond Select, Marvel Select Comic Groot, or the Rocket, or the Drax. I kind of think of this as a group, and maybe I'm cheating, but you know what? It's my video. I can do what I want. All 3 of these have been in the back of my mind all year. I don't know what it is about these. You know I don't usually do select. They're larger scale. That whole spiel that I just did, 4-6-inch scale, I broke it with the first pick. But these are just amazing representations of these characters. If I had to pick one, yeah, it would be Groot. But Drax's excellent sculpt and the addition of the Jolly Rancher axe puts him way up the list. And then after I did the leg fix on Rocket, he's right up there too. Plus all 3 being specific artist renditions, they stand out against the rest of the figures. I like me some uniformity across the shelf, but these standing out like they do, I can't help but pick them. Number 4 on my list is the Toys Alliance MAS-01 Optimus Prime. There's a hell of a shot. This figure is so massive, so well articulated, so well sculpted. Whenever you look at it, you can't help thinking that it's the end-all be-all Optimus Prime. He may be the scourge of photo booths everywhere. He is a pain in the ass to get pictures of, but that just adds to his awesomeness. Everybody's eye is always going to be drawn to that figure in any picture. And sure, it doesn't transform, which I guess rubs some people wrong, but to me, I buy Transformers for the characters, not their vehicles. If I wanted that, I would buy Hot Wheels. And that's not a dig at anybody that wants to display them in vehicle mode. I'm after the robots. I'm after the characters. And this is right up my alley. Number 3, it wouldn't be a top 5 unless there was a Deadpool. And this one is the Figma Deadpool. Now there are some people who are on my case about this not fitting in with the rest of my collection. I still think this is lanky, it's cartoony, it's a little bit small to go in with even my figure arts figures. But you know what? This figure is fun. And yes, the displays are important, the shelf, the overall look to it, but I will pick up this Deadpool every day and fiddle around with it. And the way Good Smile Company went out on a limb to give him another set of legs for the boxer short look, that's just a stroke of brilliance on their part. It sets this Deadpool apart from all the rest of the Deadpools we've gotten lately. Like I said, this one stays on my desk. Whenever I'm, watching something or just feeling lazy, I'll pick him up, pose him around, put him back down. Whatever you do with this figure, it's going to look cool. For number 2, we move into a galaxy far, far away, and that would be the Mafex Rogue One. And that would be the Mafex Rogue One Darth Vader. We've been fighting the good Darth Vader fight for several years, or at least the companies have. Every time a new one comes out, it's called the best so far, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there is just something about this figure that draws my eye. I want to say it's the red lenses in the helmet. I don't know why I'm so enamored with that, but it just sets it apart from the rest. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Hasbro Black Series 40th Anniversary Darth Vader, but this one just seems a little bit more dynamic. Yeah, the limbs may be a little bit skinny, but the overall look of this Vader on my shelf, I like it the best. And number 1 in Robo's top 5 action figures of 2017 would be the Bandai Star Wars model kit General Grievous. I know, some of you are going to say that this is a model kit, not an action figure, but it's a figure and it has action. Action figure. Yeah, the model kit line, you have to put some elbow grease in. You have to put it together. You have to snip off all the little chunks coming off of it. You have to paint it up. You have to put decals on. But you know what? That's part of the fun. Again, a big factor in my picks is the fun factor. And really, this General Grievous will do all the poses you want an action figure to do. Plus, Bandai stepped out and gave us a figure that most companies haven't given us. Yes, I know the Disney Elite has a General Grievous in it, but that might as well be a statue because it doesn't move right, it's a little bit large, it's loosey-goosey in places. This is 100% better than that. It fills that gap, it looks great on the shelf, it stands out, the color, the shape, the character itself just screams, I am a great action figure. And then we get to my bottom 5. Now these aren't the worst action figures, they're just the ones that either disappointed me or, well, actually did piss me off in some way. And my first pick, the number 5 of it, would be the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series face paints. You thought I was going to say Rey, didn't you? But no, just the overall look of their human characters in the last year. We knew it was a problem. The face paints had been degrading since Series 1, and it got to where they were just very G.I. Joe-ish. Their eyes looked fake, the skin tones were plain, the transitions here and there just did not work for the human characters. It got to the point where the Black Series, you just wanted the troopers, you wanted the aliens, you wanted the non-human characters, and then we relied on other companies for that. And I knew that was going on, there was always something off, but got to Comic-Con this year, and Hasbro announced that they will be moving to a face printing technology, which made it even worse, really, if you get down to it. We knew something better was coming, but there were figures coming out that didn't utilize that new technology. So it made it to where you pick one up and it'd be like, this would be so much better with that new face printing tech. And I know this may be a cop-out. I didn't actually pick up a figure, but you know what? I don't buy figures just to hate on them. I don't buy stuff knowing that I'm going to pan it in a review. I buy it hoping for the best, and if it comes out that way, I guess that it comes out that way. So I try to avoid action figures that I hate. So get ready for number 3. Number 4 on my bottom 5 would be the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Magneto Cape. I know, I tried to like it. I just absolutely cannot like it. Which sucks because I really dig the Magneto figure. But the cape is just this separate entity on its back that just drags down the whole figure, figuratively and literally. I always talk about how Revoltech is a love or hate relationship. I both love and hate this figure. A lot of people ask if I have found a replacement. I have seen replacements on both Facebook and eBay. I just haven't gotten around to buying one. That's going to be a 2018 thing, probably. As we spiral further and further down, my number 3 pick would be Mattel Multiverse. I was going to say Mattel in general, but I do like the look of their wrestling figures, even though I do not buy them at all. But the Multiverse line, I don't know what's going on here. It's almost like they want it to fail. Odd articulation decisions, some design flaw. I mean, I don't know. I look at their movie figures on the pegs, they're just kind of plain, missing articulation. The paint jobs aren't as great as they could be for a mass market retail line. 2018 is looking up a little bit, but we shall wait and see for that. The new articulation added, the new sculpts, it could be a turning point, but at the same time, I don't have a lot of faith at this point. I will buy the Batwoman, but given that the Wonder Girl was huge compared to some of the older classics figures, it's so hard to trust Mattel. Number 2 nearly made me quit a line that I do like a lot, and that would be the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Venom. Holy shit, he stood right off the bat. Now, after I did this review, a lot of people said that mine had a lot of bad QC that wasn't necessarily in the rest of the figures of the run, but I did hear from other people that said their torso was loose, he was hard to manipulate, and it being Revoltech, yes, I understand the joint system. I love most of the other releases in this line. Wolverine, Deadpool, Spider-Man, they look great posed, I have fun with them, but Venom, for some reason, he punched me in the eye and then just stood there asking, you know, what? I can't find a pose that looks good on the shelf with the others. The others are all dynamic, and this one feels like it's slumped over and you can't really get, or I can't really get a good look out of it. So I have him just pinned to the wall, kind of wall crawling, being up out of the way, away from the rest of my figures. And then number 1 on my bottom 5 list would be, and you've probably guessed it already, that would be the Diamond Select, Marvel Select, Comic Star-Lord. Look, even the base is just drooping from the weight of this after being on the stand so long. And it's on the stand because the damn thing will not stand for me. In fact, most of the articulation is useless. It's either loose and just kind of drops down when you try to pose it, or it just doesn't have any range of movement. The fact that he can barely hold both guns, the left hand just does not work with the gun, that is discouraging as hell. The rest of the Guardians, the torso was pretty useless, but this being the first one I opened and found out that it's just a cut there that doesn't do anything, yeah, that's big points against it. The hair on both heads don't match for some reason. When he puts the mask on, does his hair go blonder? I hate it even more now that I've dragged it out again. It's been behind a computer monitor in my room, just hidden away since I reviewed it. It's very, very infuriating because I look at it from afar and there's potential there. I want to like it. I want to put it with the rest of my Guardians, which, as you saw from the top 5, most of those made it to my most favorite action figures of the year, which again makes this all the worse. It's just a shame that this figure didn't come out as awesome as it should have. So yeah, there you go. My top 5, my bottom 5. If you wanted a top 10, I can't make those kind of decisions. It was hard enough to whittle it down to 5. You ask for my next top 5 and it could be something completely different. Hell, my list would be completely different tomorrow anyway. There were just so many great action figures this year. In fact, probably more than ever. How many Marvel Legends did we buy this year? How many Star Wars Black Series, Star Wars imports? Just a shitload of figures, and 99% of them were amazing. And the thing about it, much to the sadness of our wallets, 2018 is looking to be even better. So let me know your lists. What's your top 5? What's your bottom 5? If you agree, if you disagree. But if you enjoyed, let me know, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.